Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my YouTube channel. I am your host, the Mighty Bjorn, and today for you, got a mighty game review. Going to be talking about Cities Skylines. I'll probably just call it Cities or Skylines from now on, but either ways, going to do a quick review on this city builder, and that's generally all this is. There's no story or any in-depth information here. Going to dive into the basics. The developers, Colossal Order. The publishers, Paradox Interactive. They made this with the Unity engine. Now it was released for Windows PC, Mac OS, and Linux in March of 2015. Xbox One and PlayStation 4 in August of 2017. Nintendo Switch, September of 2018. And then Google Stadia, May of 2022. And I'm kind of snickering about that one because, well, I guess Stadia is going to be going away here soon. But either ways. Now, I'm just going to talk about the game in general. I actually do like the graphics for this game. It's nothing... I think they're fine for a game that's 2015. And this is with no mods installed for the graphics. So I feel they're fine enough. Yeah, they could be better. Definitely, like, if they made this game now in 2022, I'm sure the graphics could be better, but they did a pretty good job. I can tell what I'm looking at when I'm looking at the various buildings and things of that nature. The music is okay. I mean, you know, it isn't metal, but, you know, it's good enough, I guess. And besides, they can always just shut the music off and turn on, like, Nightbot or some media player or whatever, so that don't really matter. Interface is actually pretty good. It's got a pretty good layout, I feel. Now, there's a couple things that are difficult to find in the different tabs, but it's mostly, that's more on me than actually the game itself. Just kind of got to get acquired to looking for those different things, especially when it comes to the different types of unique things, as well as modded things. Mods, game's got a ton of mods. I didn't download, I don't know if I downloaded too many or not. I mean, I got like 50 mods. And it's mostly like buildings and stuff of that nature, additional buildings and assets. There is some actual like program stuff there, but or script, if you will. But honestly, all the mods are really small, nothing major, and there's a lot of variety when it comes to mods, including new maps and things of that nature. I want to compare it to Arma for the amount of mods there is. Now, though, I do think Arma still has more, but you can also really build some... I have to admit, though, like looking at different photographs and things of that nature, you can really build some awesome cities in this game. I'm kind of just noobing it up and not really doing anything super special. I'm just kind of building whatever willy-nilly and with no idea of what I'm doing. I mean, I haven't played a city builder in... God, the last one I played was SimCity 2000 on the PlayStation, folks. That's a pretty long time ago. I didn't really notice any glitches. I noticed sometimes like cars can glitch out or whatever. That might be more of an AI issue than a glitch. And I've seen some other little glitches, like suddenly my city would just completely lose water and there's no reason for it. It just suddenly lose water. Whatever. I mean, maybe that's just how the game's programmed. I don't really know. I don't think there's really much in the way of glitches, if any at all. That being said, the game can be very detailed, especially because of mods. You can do things like put in props, different types of structures. I downloaded some government buildings, as well as some military structures to do military bases. You can do trains. You can actually, you can do districts. You can tax the districts differently from what I understand. You can rename the districts. You can actually rename the individual houses. You can literally change everything in this game from what I can tell. I haven't tried to change everything. I essentially created districts and whatever name it would give me is what it would give me. But I did see something about changing the district names, as well as I did see an option to change the names of some of the structures, even down to the houses. Now, that being said, a couple things that, you know, it's whatever, kind of negative. Long load times. Some assets can be difficult to use. You got to micromanage some of the assets really directly, especially when it comes to stuff that needs pathing, such as like the bus depot and that. Now, kind of once you figure out the flow of how to do it, it's not hard. It just, at first, it's kind of difficult to use because honestly, the game doesn't do a really good job of telling you how to use it. And there is a couple times where I had to go to YouTube to get a tutorial on how to use XYZ assets. I mean, generally that's fine. I haven't had to do it that much. And for the most part, I've been able to successfully figure out most things in the game myself. The only big problem I have personally in my game is traffic. I mean, every major city has traffic issues. So I think I had it down to like 45% at one point. I don't know if that's good or bad. Don't really care. I'm going to end up starting a new city after this review anyway. Of course, it's got the typical busy work of typical city builders where you got to put in your own plumbing pipes. You sort of kind of have to put in power lines, but not really. It's kind of an odd thing when it comes to the power lines. But at least it's not as direct as doing SimCity 2000, where you literally had to run power lines to almost everything. Even had to run power lines across the streets to different structures. Here you kind of have a power Ned grid where basically everything can piggyback off another. That being said, the game also does lack random events and disasters. Now, it sort of does. They have a DLC for that. I'm just going to focus on talking about the base game here. I do have some of the DLCs, but I don't have the disasters DLC. And the base game has no disasters. Not even the most basic disasters. I mean, come on. Spice the gameplay up every once in a while. Throw a fucking tornado at me. I mean, bruh. Some basic, really basic disasters, like maybe having hurricanes or blizzards or, you know, anything like that. Anything like that. Tornadoes, you know. But they save that all for a DLC, which I feel is kind of unfortunate. There's also no snow effect or seasons in this game. And that being said, once again, before someone goes to the comments and starts talking about there is snow if you buy a certain DLC. And, you know, once again, it's just a certain DLC. There's no seasons either. I think it would have been a nice touch to have seasons. Now, maybe there's a mod for it. I haven't went looking yet to see if there is one. But it would have been cool to be able to set up seasons in the game instead of having the, generally speaking, the same kind of weather all the time. You typically get clear days, rain, or thunderstorms, and that's it. Not much. And that being said, also when doing building, particularly at night, it can be difficult to see. I mean, I'm going to mess with my settings a bit more, but there was times where it was pretty much absolutely black, and that was even with looking at the city lights. Like, I could see the city lights, but it didn't really, they didn't really give much in the way of ambient light, if you will. Either ways, with all that being said, folks, the base game is $30. I'm not going to dig into the DLCs because there is a lot of DLCs for this game. And I honestly wouldn't even know where to start, let alone I don't even have all the DLCs myself. I basically got the City Builder Beginner Edition, which came with the base game and 3 DLCs. I was able to get it on GOG for like $21. And honestly, it was well worth it because this game is fucking addictive like hookers and blow. It just, ever since I started playing it, I haven't been able to stop playing it because I really, really enjoy the gameplay. Now, as my city got like really huge, it started getting boring because there was like less stuff going on. And essentially, I just kind of, like I said, as soon as I'm done with this review, I'm building a new city because this game is actually a lot of fun and it's really detailed. I have to give them credit for a game from 2015. There's a lot here Now that being said, you can play this with a controller, but honestly, yeah, I say this is a PC keyboard and mouse game, if anything. I mean, yeah, they released it on console, but you really got to play this with a PC, in my opinion. Anyway, folks, that is my review of Cities Skylines. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. Thank you very much for tuning in, and have yourself a wonderful day.